Good evening. Good evening, Terry. Right. Good evening. It's just a good morning, Terry.
Good morning. Yes.
Yes, indeed. It's a Thursday. We don't have a hump day or a Terry Tuesday. It's just Thursday.
That's right.
It's the last day of the week for Terry until tonight anyway, when we get back together for the Player's Edge. We'll have a little bit more about that a little bit later on in the show. Terry did manage to take home the late pick for yesterday. That was a positive. Good thing that the 1 and 1A didn't win. Otherwise, wouldn't have turned a profit at all.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, my best bet of the day won yesterday too. For that track.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So hopefully today at Del Mar, we can have some success too. Last week, Terry closed out the week with a bang at Del Mar with a nice pick four. So hopefully we can do the same thing today. Terry, I don't know what Terry's status will be next week. He's going to be on the road with Thomas as they make their trek from, I don't know where they get picked up, like Cincinnati out to Saratoga. Is that right?
Yeah, Cleveland. He's going to pick me up in Cleveland, Ohio, and then we're going to take off from there and take our time to get to Saratoga, but be traveling, I guess, quite a bit. So
yes,
anyway, I wanted to bring up that, I just read that in the last 7 days at Del Mar, the average pick five has paid a little over $53,000 a day. So,
well, we're not doing a pick five, but we'll have pick fours in here.
Maybe
you take a look at some of the picks, and maybe you can craft one and make yourself $50,000 today.
That's what I mean. Take our pick fours and then add a couple of horses that you like in the first leg and see what you can do.
Yeah, I would always suggest that people do their own homework and then just use what Terry and I say to either confirm or to give you something else to think about in case I've identified something that you haven't. And that's what we encourage in the comment section too. You see Charles and Nick and our friend Jared and others putting their picks in there as well. So we'd appreciate it when you put your picks in and you comment as well. We also appreciate it when you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Horse Race Today. And while you're at YouTube at Horse Racing Radar TV, just please click the subscribe button. And if you like what you saw, the like button, and tell your friends about us as well. Terry, did you like what you saw last night?
I did.
With, Jamie MC Martinez and Swiss Army Sean?
Yeah, I think she does a fabulous job, and her and Sean work together really well. And then the guest was a really good guest. The only problem is sometimes the talking would cut out, but I guess that's because the phone needs to be a certain distance from him. But yeah, it was really good, and I guess people should take a look at that because you're going to learn a lot. So.
Well, that's the idea, to learn about the game itself, horse racing. I've learned a lot in these shows that we've done with people, and also to learn about the person themselves, right? So it's a two-pronged approach. Learn about the personalities and learn how to be a better player. So the 2 Ps of Horse Center. And, of course, I'll be back next week with Sean, Monday through Wednesday, as Jamie gets the rest. That first week probably took a lot out of her, Terry.
Yeah. But she, like I said, she did a fabulous job. So.
Oh, yeah, tremendous job. And as I mentioned, tonight we're going to be having the Player's Edge tonight. We're live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern with Mountaineer track announcer Peter Berry. We're going to go over the West Virginia Derby and a couple of other races. Get an idea from Peter what's happening out in West Virginia. And it should be a fun show. My understanding is Peter's a great guest.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
To make sure you don't miss it, again, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Follow us on our social media sites. That way, when we go live, our Swiss Army Sean will let you know to be on the lookout for Terry, Tom, Sean, and myself tonight for the Player's Edge, as we do on every Thursday at 9:30 p.m., highlighting some of the weekend's biggest races. Well, the biggest races we're going to do today, Terry, are at Del Mar. And
right.
What time does that card start again? Around
I think 2 o'clock. Around
2 o'clock your time, right?
Yeah.
So around 4 or 5 o'clock on East Coast. All right. Let's pull up. And, there are a bunch of – so they haven't done the scratches yet and that sort of stuff. And then there's also not a there's a lot of also entries. So my picks include some of the AEs, Terry. I'll identify which ones are the AEs, and then we'll go ahead and we'll correct them from there. Well, at least give you the alternatives from there. So race number 1 at Del Mar today, Terry, is let me just get to this. Race 1 is a 5 furlong race on the turf. It's a maiden race for $80,000, Terry. I didn't have to do my horse trader I guess that's what we can call it. I don't have to come up with another word, but I don't know. But anyway, so far at the Del Mar meet, they haven't run a whole lot of races, as you can imagine, at 5 furlongs on the turf because the meet's still relatively new. They've run 7 of them. 5 were won by speed. All 5 of those that were won by speed went wire to wire. So far, none have won from the rail. Posts 2 and 3 have also struggled to win. 4 through 7 have been fair. They've won at par. And if you get an 8 or out, you get a pretty nice bonus in there. Start us off.
All right. Well, I'm going to start you off with the number 6 horse, Happy Gal. She's was well bet and finished 3rd in her debut race, and she only lost by a neck. And then I like number 1, Heart of the Night. She is a first-time starter who was purchased for $275,000, has a good workout, including a bullet workout on July 28th. And then number 8's my 3rd pick, La Pierre. She is a first-time starter whose jockey in the last 7 days has won 7 out of 27 races, actually been in the money 17 times. And she has a decent workout on July 28th as well. And then number 3 is Queensy. She's finished 2nd in her debut race, earning the highest last speed rating, and has good workouts for her return to the races.
So for me, I'm going to get cracking with the 11 horse there. As I mentioned, some of my picks here today are the also eligibles. And number 11 is That Candy Caramel. Trader Peter Miller, if this one gets in, hits at 31% in second career races. That's the strongest number for any trainer in the group. 3 good workouts since the debut and was well bet in that first start. So if the 11 gets in, it's my top choice. If not, the 8 horse, La Pierre, pops up into that spot. First-time starter for Philip D'Amato and Juan Hernandez. Those 2 are the strongest combinations in terms of jockey trainer in this field. Okay works, but the pedigree for the distance and surface is pretty strong. Number 2, oh boy. Balenciaga Betty. I hope I got that right. This one has 3 really good works leading into today. As you mentioned, Terry, the 1 horse, Heart of the Night. This horse had a bullet workout in the last workout prior to going to the track for the first time. That's what I call a bullet and go. It is an alpha angle, according to Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper, with all that stats in there. To me, an alpha angle is anything that wins at 15% or more. If the 11 doesn't make it in, my next pick was the 12, which is also eligible. 3 strands, some good workouts getting ready. Jockey Umberto Rispoli hitting at a nice amount. And if that one doesn't get in, then the 3 horse. But I'll leave all of my picks over at horseracingtoday.net in the recap. So when the AEs get in or don't get in or any of that sort of stuff, you know who fills in that next spot. Race 2 is I should click on the card there, 6 furlong, claiming $10,000 race for a purse of $30,000. Profile of a Del Mar, 6 furlong winner so far. 8 races, 6 of which were won by speed. 3 of the 6 speed horses led from gate to wire. There's an absolute outside-in bias once again. No wins from the rail so far. 2 and 3 have underperformed. Again, 4 through 7 are fair, and 8 plus has been a bonus, Terry. This time I do have my sheet ready for race number 2. You see the horses that are squared off. These guys mean that they have a pace setup that fits races that they've won before. So the 6 and the 7 should compete for the lead. The 1 horse is what's called an early EP horse. So it can be on the lead, or the horse can run 2nd or 3rd. So it can pressure or it can pilot. So pilot or co-pilot. And here we have the horses with the strongest late run, the 8 and the 5. The 5 being the one with the strongest late run in the field. No horse in this field has a really outstanding competitive advantage over the rest, Terry, but one of them is your best bet.
That's right, Little Grazin. I've liked Little Grazin for a long time. She's number 8. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has won 7 out of 27 starts. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 2, Righteousness. I think that's how you spell it. Anyway, whatever. She ran 2nd versus similar to her last race, earning the highest last speed rating. Number 3 is my 3rd pick, It's a Riddle. She has been competing in 1,000-yard races, but has finished in the money in 8 out of 10 races at Del Mar and has won at today's distance, so she can handle it. Number 1 is my fourth pick, Trouble in Paradise. She won her last race at Los Alamitos, and the trainer wins 24% of the time in the second race after claiming a horse. And then I'm just going to say that my pick of the day yesterday was at Finger Lakes.
Hold on a second, my man. You're getting a little too ahead of me there, Terry. So let me just I'll take us there, my friend.
Okay.
Yesterday, Terry's best bet yesterday was at Finger Lakes. His best bet today at horseracingtoday.net is at Saratoga. So we're doing a little Toga Del Mar double. So all right, Terry, what happened at Finger Lakes yesterday?
Well, the number 4 early shot was my first pick and got a really terrible break and still ran third, paid $210. And then my third choice, Preferred Outcome, ran second, paid $310 and $210. So number 3 horse won that race, paid 12 something. So anyway, today I like at Saratoga the 8th race, and I like number 1 Mystic Knight. He has won 2 races in a row and is trained by Chad Brown and ridden by jockey Irad Ortiz Jr. So he has a lot of boxes marked. Number 5, Art Collector. You know, he's a grade 1 winner who took a 5-month break and has several good workouts in a row, including the last one, a bullet workout preparation for today's race. And then number 6, Masquerade. He won his last race at Churchill Downs and switches to a high percentage winning jockey, Joel Rosario.
So we've gone through Terry's pick yesterday, Terry's best bet today at Saratoga, all at horseracingtoday.net every single day, rain, sleet, or shine. Terry, like the postman, does deliver. And then while you're there, please hit on that HRT gear link and get yourself some Horse Racing Today gear. Support the show. Save a little bit of money. Only 4 days left to get 20% off and beat inflation. So we're trying to help you with our picks and with inflation. These shirts held up very well, I think, Terry. And it looks pretty good. Looking forward to sporting some of it when we're out at Saratoga. And we're going to go back now to my picks for race number 2 at Del Mar as we kind of take a little bit of a detour there. I'm going to start with number 2, Righteously. Has run at Del Mar 3 times, won 2 of those races. Better in the first half mile in its last start. Faster fractions as well. 2 maintenance workouts between starts. Number 8, Little Grayson. This one does have the top Del Mar number, and it's not close. But the thing that concerns me a little bit, horses coming off the bench, the track record coming off the bench isn't the strongest, and the workouts so far have been kind of blah. Number 1, Trouble in Paradise, second run after claim, as you mentioned. The trainer, Sergio Morfin, does hit at 24% off that angle, but the horse has done fairly well at the distance as well, running 5 times, 2 wins, a second and a third. And as I mentioned, when we went through the horse trader, this is an EP horse that can run on the lead or run from off the lead, so it does have some versatility. The only thing it needs to do is just be in the cockpit. So if it's forwardly placed, has a good shot to win. Number 3, It's a Riddle, has run at Del Mar 10 times, as you mentioned, Terry, finishing in the money, 8 of those 10, 4 seconds, 4 thirds, hasn't quite collected the winner's check. So is it a horse that's going to win? Probably not. This is a Tom horse. It's going to finish in the money. Probably late, though. I think it's one that's going to close into the money and not necessarily be there right from the get-go. Thank you. We appreciate that, Grandma Horse Racing. And we appreciate you telling your friends about us and telling the whole world right now on YouTube. Well, not the whole world, but the folks who are watching and who will eventually watch. Race number 3, Terry, at Del Mar this afternoon is a 1-mile race on the turf. It's an $80,000 maiden special weight. And the profile of a 1-mile turf runner at least turf winners so far at Del Mar. They've run 16 races. 11 of them have been won from off the pace, but 4 went from gate to wire. This time around, you get a little bit of an inside bonus as the rail has outperformed, but the 2 and 3 have underperformed, but the 4 through 7 have outperformed, and 8 under have underperformed. So it's kind of like an accordion. Overperforms, underperforms, overperforms, underperforms. It's a kind of interesting dynamic there for sure. So in race number 3, in our sheet here, we see, again, the way the pace breaks down. These are the way horses have run their best. I know this is a maiden special weight, so they haven't won yet. which this is how they've had their best performance to date. And you see the 4-horse here should be the one that's the pace setter. And I have a plus mark here, meaning this one is going to be have at least a 5-point advantage at the 4 furlong marker, meaning it should be at least 1 length clear of everybody else. And actually, this one has about a 9. All these negative marks, they're not really negative, just means that these horses are running essentially at the same level that they've run before in these maiden races. And here you see we might have a pace advantage because most of the field are closers. And then you just don't know what you're going to get from the first-time starter. So despite the fact that the distance and surface has favored horses that have come off the pace, the way this race sets up could favor horses that are on the front of the pace because there's not a whole lot of them. So how do you think it plays out, Terry?
Well, I like the number 10, Pelagrosa. She finished third versus similar in her last race at 5 furlongs, and now she stretches out to a mile, which I think is what she needs.
And it's also your long shot, right?
Yeah, it is my long shot of the day. So anyway, and this is a pretty wide open race, to tell you the truth. I like number 1 is my second pick, Velvet. She's finishing the money in all 4 of her career races, finishing second versus similar in her last race. And it has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days, as I've said previously, has been in the money 17 out of 27 times. And then number 8 is my third pick, Kitty Quintana. She finished third versus Tougher in her last race, drops in class today, and her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 7, Gimme Mo Bay, baby. Gimme Mo Baby. Mo. She has something. Yeah, she has the highest. Some of these names just make me crack up. Anyway, she has the highest last race speed rating and the trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days. It's won 3 out of 9 starts.
All right. So for me in race number 3, Terry, I don't know that it is going to be as wide open as you think. I think there's going to be one horse in here that's probably dominant. And that's why I made it my best bet, Kitty Quintana. I don't think there's any chance in hell this horse is going to be 5-2. If it is, maybe something's wrong with the horse. But I think it's probably going to be closer to 6-5, maybe even lower. Just missed in a grade 3 last out. With a little luck, this horse could be undefeated in the 2 races it's had here in the States since coming over for Ireland. I feel like this extra 1.5 furlongs, stretching out from 6.5 furlongs to 1 mile, is going to make all the difference in the world. And I think when the race is over, this one could be one of the horses that wins by the biggest margins on the Del Mar card today. Number 1, Velvet, is my second choice. This guy is a money burner. Been the favorite 3 races in a row and hasn't managed to win one of them. Trainer Richard Mandela, however, does rebound at 30%. So figuring that this is the 4th time that the horse comes back after being a beaten favorite, 1 out of 4 is 25%. So gambler's fallacy, the horse is due, but it certainly is due. It's run 4 times, 3 seconds, and a third. And I'm going to go for some shots now behind these 2 horses. I feel like those are going to capture all the money. The 2-horse, Tiergarten, Mike Smith rides in career start number 2 for this horse. Trainer Clifford Sis Jr. hits at 22%, second career race, and 28% the first time he stretches a horse out. I don't think the Hall of Famer Mike would get on a horse that, even though I think this one's like 15-1 morning line, I don't think Mike's getting on a horse at 15-1 if he doesn't think it has a chance, because he probably has his choice of mounts. Number 4 is my final choice in here, Red Tierra. As I mentioned, this guy does have a plus pace advantage at the 4 furlong marker. No other horse goes with her. She could run free on the lead from the time the gates open to the time they hit the finish wire. So 8-1-2-4 for me in race number 3. Race 4 is your box it up, Terry, and it is a mile race. Made an $80,000 for a purse of $80,000. And if we look at 1 mile on the main track here, again, the profile of a winner on the dirt course is 9 races, 5 from off the pace, 2 of those going wire to wire. Here we have a strong outside to in. Again, no wins from the rail. You only have 1 winner from posts 2 and 3. 4 through 7 have just played to par, and 8 and out have gotten a ginormous bonus so far. That doesn't really come into play today with only 7 horses in the field. But it's interesting to me that on the dirt track, we see that there's really not been an inside bias so far. We got our first left arrow horse of the day, I think. I don't think I had any up here so far. No, I have not. That is the 5 horse. The 5 horse on paper looks like it wants to be a closer, but its early pace figures suggest that it'll be closer to the front of the pack. These other guys squared off, telling me that they're going to get a pace that they're comfortable with, so they won't have to work too hard to get in a position they want. Oh, by the way, the 6 is a tiny left arrow horse. But we see here the 2 has a late pace plus, meaning it has at least a 5-point pace advantage over the next closest late pace horse. So if the 2 is anywhere near the lead as they come out of the turn and head for the home, it probably has enough late legs to run right by everybody in here, Terry. And this is your box it up. So why don't you take us through your picks?
All right. Number 6 is my first pick, Donner Lake. He finished 3rd on the turf in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. A jockey who in the last 7 days, as I said over and over, has won 7 out of 27 races. And he has a good workout on July 28th. And then number 5, my second pick, Hero Status. He ran second versus similar his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He also has a good 5 furlong workout on July 29th. And then number 2, Pelagio. He ran second versus similar in his last race, and he has a trainer-jockey combination that has won 50% of their starts in the last 14 days. And then number 1, my third pick, Go Joe 1. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race and has 3 bullet workouts in a row, so he's quick.
He's getting ready. He's fired up, getting ready to get out there and show what he can do, right?
That's right.
All right, so for me in race number 4, we're in race number 4, correct? Race number 4. I like number 5, Hero Status, as I mentioned. This is a left arrow horse, should be close to the pace, and has plenty of late pop to go with it. 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row, looking to make it 4. Number 6, Donner Lake, is another left arrow horse, just a little bit smaller. Just missed with Juan Hernandez in his last race, despite some early trouble, so a little bit better trip today, and top jockey Juan Hernandez could navigate it right into the win. Number 2, Pelagio, has a plus late pace advantage, as I mentioned, over the field. The early pace numbers say he'll need all of it because he's likely to be coming from way back. And then, like you, Terry, I agree on Go Joe 1, 3 straight bullet workouts. Says that this guy could come off the bench on fire, or in fuego, as they say in Espanol. You know who else has been kind of in fuego?
Yeah, picks with the professor.
Yes, but he got a little bit of rained on yesterday, Terry. He got a little bit wet yesterday because the Cubs game with the St. Louis Cardinals was rained out. Yeah. So he ended up going with the Dodgers as the replacement, as we talked about yesterday on the show. And the Dodgers, what did they do again, Terry?
Yeah, they beat us 5-0. So,
wow, you guys don't even put up a fight.
I know. They're just too good of a team. They're just. Even though I'm a Giants fan, I love the Giants. The Dodgers are just really good.
Mm-hmm. The Giants, they're probably maybe one of the historically best teams in terms of records, the way it's looking so far. Yep. But today, the professor he's going to side with the Minnesota Twins at plus 108. Manoah is good, but he's the only edge I can really identify here for the Blue Jays. Their offense is good versus right-handed pitching, but really takes off against lefties. They'll face a fairly good righty today in Sonny Gray, who projects only slightly behind Mona. Add in the game being in Minnesota and the Twins bullpen edge, we have a situation where we get plus odds backing the team that should be a slight favorite. That is the Minnesota Twins. If you like baseball, you can get the professor's pick play of the day. There is a link in the description here at YouTube, as well as Facebook and on Twitter. There's also a link to their full YouTube show, so you can see every single major league pick today for the professor. And while you're there, kindly make a ruckus in the comment section and let them know that Horse Racing Today sent you. Let's see. Armando Suarez says he's got pick 6. Is this at Del Mar today, Armando? So, here's his pick 6 races, exacta trifecta boxes, and good luck. So, certainly we appreciate you putting your picks in, Armando. If you have some picks like Armando and you want to share them, some thoughts, some insights, hey, even a tip from somebody at the track, let us know. We always love those, right, Terry?
We do.
Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed. We've gotten some folks who have given us 30-1 shots on a tip. So we appreciate that. And, trainer Timothy Murray comes on at times and lets us know about his horses who tend to run fairly well too. So got a lot of good community here. So the best thing you can do to make sure the community grows is tell your friends about us, Terry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So back to the races at Del Mar. Now we're going to go off to race number, I think 6, right? Yes, no, race number 5, Terry. You know what race number 5 is, right?
Yeah, that's that race of explosion, or what do you call it?
The race of death, Terry.
I hate to use that term, though.
Yes, it's the race of death because it connects one pick 4 to the next pick 4.
Yeah.
Yes, and this one is 1 mile on the turf, Terry. We talked about 1 mile on the turf already being 16 races, most of them won from horses that come from behind. 4, however, managed to lead from gate to wire. This time you have an inside 3 bonus, inside 3 rail bonus. The 2 and 3 underperform. This is the accordion one again. 4 through 7 gets a bonus, and 8 out underperform. So it's all over the place in race number 5, Terry. Let's pull up the chart here, and this is an interesting race to me too because you really don't have any horses over here in this E or EP column, meaning that they are going to get to the front and try to win this race. You have a ton of horses that want to be like mid-pack and back. And I think if I remember correctly, from 11, 12, and 13 are all AEs, so also eligibles. Mm-hmm. So you have a little bit, the 2 horses in here that should get the most comfortable pace up front, might even be your pace setters, are the 5 and the 6. And the 6 getting a plus at the 4 furlong marker, meaning the 6 horse should have a 5-point advantage, so maybe a length or more lead at the half-mile marker. So I think this race is going to be an interesting tactical race because of the fact that they're really all share pretty similar running styles.
That's right. Well, I like in this race, the very first pick is the number 6, Golden Knee. I guess that's how you pronounce it. His best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. And he has a trainer-jockey combination in the last 14 days. Has got 8 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. And a good 4 furlong workout on July 30th. And then I like number 3, Senta Cento. He finished first and second in his last 3 races. And then I like number 2, Ethan's Animal. His breeding suggests he'll like the grass, and he should improve at this longer distance. And then number 10 is my 4th pick, Today's Matter. And he won his last race at Las Alamitas, and the trainer wins 25% of the time in a claiming race.
All right, so number 12, Cool Your Jets, is my top choice in here. It's ran all right at Del Mar, 1 win, 3 seconds, and a third so far. 2 of the best in terms of his races were there. In the money, 6 of 10. If he gets in, I expect that you're going to see him be a solid player. 2 of his best races came on the turf, I think. Number 6, Goldini, as I mentioned, is a horse that does have a plus advantage at the 4 furlong mark. And as someone kindly emailed us, come on, man. Everybody knows you play Philip D'Amato on the grass at Del Mar. Number 5, Constant Conflict, gets the maiden win last time out at $61,000, a maiden special weight, which was one of the highest maiden wins in the field. And when you look through, when you get these horses that basically won 1 race before, they're all competing against each other. One of the things you can look at is the class that they broke their maiden at. Sometimes that helps you identify the better horses in the field. Number 10, Today Matters, is a maiden claiming $20,000 riser. Not really my favorite angle, Terry, but the 3 most recent grass goes do fit in here. And then finally, if the 12 does not make it in, I'm going to put the 8 horse in as my 4th choice. That's Bravestone, an absolute flyer. I think he's 30-1 morning line, but he did win at maiden special weight $67,000, which I think was tops for this field. And then you look at the 2 runs on the turf, one of which was a win, that maiden $67,000 win. And his other run, although it was way off the winning pace, but its numbers were pretty close to the winning effort. So that 8 horse could be one that actually surprises in here. And I actually included the 8 horse in my pick of death, pick 4s, Terry, because I just, I feel like that's the race where you're going to catch probably a flyer that does hit for a big price. Go ahead and tell us, you singled that 8 in race number 2.
I did, yes.
You're still going to live and die on that guy, eh?
I do, yeah. Sometimes I like to do that because then it gives me better coverage in the other three legs. And so I went with the 8 in the first leg. If it can win, I think I've got this pick 4. I got it with the 3 horses in the third race, 3 horses in the fourth, and then 4 in the fifth.
Well, I singled an 8 too, Terry, but just in the next race because I really do feel like that 8 horse is going to end up being a heavy favorite. Clearly, quality of the field, I feel like something has to go wrong for it not to win. And in race number 5, you can see I have the 12 is highlighted in yellow because it isn't also eligible. So if the 12 scratches out, I know in my picks I had the 10 horse as my third choice, but I switched to 10 and the 8 because if that 8 happens to come home at 30-1, man, we're going to get absolutely paid. So that's the thinking there. Hopefully I can get through my single. I'm not nearly as confident as you are that if I get through the single that I got this. I never like to do that to myself. Terry.
No, me neither. Usually I don't play a single. I usually play at least 2, but sometimes I do.
Sounds like someone's trying to tear my house down up on the floor above me. All right. Can you hear that banging or no?
Did, yes.
All right. I don't know what the hell's going on up there. All right. So the next race on the card is race number 6 furlongs for claiming 40,000 for a purse of 53 grand. So it's a little bit of money at stake in race number 6. As I mentioned before, 6 furlongs, they've run 8 times, 6 of which were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call, 3 of them taking them from beginning to the end. Again, we see an outside bias. Nobody's won from the rail. Very few have won from 2 or 3. 4 through 7 have been fair. Outside of that, you get a big bonus. This is my long shot of the day, Terry. Blame it on Rose, but let's talk a little bit about what the pace might set up in race number 6. It's a pretty evenly matched race in terms of a lot of, you don't really have a lot of closers, a lot of speed horses. What you do have is a lot of horses that are going to spread out pretty nicely across the track. The 4 and the 6 getting pace figures that they should like. The 4 should be on the lead. The 6 horse should play co-pilot. 5 horse should be in a pressure spot as well. And here you see that the 1 and the 2 and the 3 all have similar late pace numbers. So they'll be chugging towards the line. I like the 6 horse here, Terry, the EP horse, the lone EP horse, by the way, as my long shot of the day. And the reason is, let me just bring this back up as I fight with 40,000 different things on the screen, Terry, which makes it always kind of fun. The reason the 6 horse is my long shot of the day, blame it on Rose. It's run at Del Mar 3 times, won 2 of them. And the lone off the board finish, Terry, the race was over when it started because when the gates opened, they pretended it was Los Alamitos. They pretended it was a quarter horse race, and everybody went and sandwiched my 6 horse. Never had a chance to win. So if they don't play ping pong horse racing today and the 6 gets a clean break, I think can make it 3 out of 4 at Del Mar. What do you say? Right. And you don't even have the 6 in there, Terry.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. So that's a little bit scary. Anyway, I like number 5.
For me or for you?
For me. It's scary for me. For my pick 4. Anyway, I like number 5, Empire Pass. She finished 3rd in her last race and should improve while returning to the dirt. Number 1 is my second pick, Loma Vista. She ran 2nd versus similar her last race and received the highest last race speed rating. And she's tied with another one. And she has a good workout on 29th of July. And then number 2, my third pick, Shared Future. She finished 4th, beaten only a length and 3/4 versus Tougher in her last start, and has a trainer who wins 25% of the time when he brings a horse back in the first race after claiming that horse. And then the number 8 is my 4th pick, One Silk Stocking. She won her last race, has a last race speed rating, highest last speed rating, actually tied with the number 1 horse. And she has a jockey who in the last 7 days, as I said, over and over and over, is just on fire, winning 7 out of 27 starts in the money 17 times.
So as I mentioned, blame it on Rose does get my long shot play of the day in race number 6. So 6 and 6. I like when the numerology works out. Number 5, Empire Pass, second choice behind that 6 horse. Been on a fast track 4 times. 1-2, came in 3rd in the other 2. So I don't know what the weather's like out there today, Terry. Maybe you can look out the window, but I suspect it never rains in Southern California. Someone sung a song like that.
Yeah, well, It's a little hard for me to see that far. It's 8 hours away. So,
Yeah, that's okay. You can use Sarah Palin's eyes.
okay.
Anyway, decent workouts getting ready. Should get a trip that fits her winning runs. Number 2, Shared Future is a third choice. Just as dropping off the claim for our friend of the show, trainer Robertino Diodoro. And I know that when we had Robertino on the show, he specifically said that he targets races off the claim, and he does so very successfully. And this time, off the claim, off the drop, he wins at 32%. So that's pretty successful. Last time out, the horse had better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. And then finally, number 1, Loma Vista. Not a real fan of that inside draw I mentioned. Nobody's won from the rail yet, but does have the top late pace numbers in the field. Did tie for the top last race speed figure. 5 good workout since. So I think this one rallies in to threaten for third, maybe second at the end of the race. Race 7 is a 5 furlong turf race, just like we started the card at 5 furlongs on the turf, the profile of a winner. 7 races, 5 of which were won by speed. All 5 of those that won by speed did so going wire to wire. Again, we see inside anti-bias as nobody's won from the rail. Very few have won from 2 and 3. 4 through 7 have played fair. 8 and out is where you get the bonus. This one is my box it up for the day, Terry. And it also has another one with an interesting race shape here for race number 7. You see in race number 7, we catch a lot of horses. The E means that they want to be on the lead to win. And if you look at this field, 5 furlongs on the turf, woo, a lot of folks want to be on the lead, Terry.
Yeah.
This one has an opportunity to have a pace meltdown, in which case the 2 horse, which can pilot or co-pilot, does have a plus late pace advantage, meaning, and I think it's almost close to 2, meaning that at the end of the race, this one's really going to have a lot of energy left while a lot of these speed burners up here start to tire. 10 horse should be right off the pace as well. This poor 7's going to be back here all by himself and doesn't really have any late pace numbers. Might never even come into the picture, Terry.
And that's funny, too, because that's my horse. So go ahead.
Poor guy. Anyway, I didn't know that was your horse, but this is my box it up in here, Terry. I have the 7 in there, too, though. He's in there as my alternative pick because you see the 10 is highlighted in yellow.
Yeah.
That means that the 10 horse is also eligible. So if he gets in, then I want him. If not, I'm going to replace him with the 7. For me, Stress gets the top choice. Kind of hard to overlook the fact that trainer Peter Uriton has won 4 out of 5 races in the second start off of a claim. Did run the top last race speed figure for Peter in the first race off the claim. So if that holds true, 80% winner, hell, you can't overlook that ever. Number 8, Champagne Cami. Juan Hernandez rides. The only other time Juan rode this horse, he went wire to wire at Del Mar at 5 furlongs on the turf. So just like today. So we're looking to have deja vu all over again. Number 10, Lexington Humor. As I mentioned, this one isn't also eligible. If he gets in, the first 2 races that he had would be more than good enough to collect the win here. I am a bit concerned, however, that Umberto Rispoli decides to get on the 3 instead. And that just could be a function that the 3 is a guaranteed ride as long as it doesn't scratch, whereas the 10 had to get in. Number 2, Del Mar Drama has the top late pace numbers in a race that's loaded with speed, as we showed in our horse trader. If the speed pace gets too hot and breaks down, this one will absolutely be well positioned to capitalize. And in the event that the 10 horse doesn't get in, I do like Snark. Bunch of bullets getting ready. Joe Bravo's ridden this guy 3 times, a win and a couple of seconds, Terry. That's my box it up. How do you see race 7 playing out?
Well, I like the 7 Snark, and I know he's going to be real back and going to close.
That could work to his benefit with all that speed, though.
That's what I was thinking. I think that the speed may just run himself into the ground, and that 7 is going to close on the outside, win this race. Anyway, she won her last race at Santa Anita, has a high percentage winning jockey, and a good 4 furlong workout on the 29th of July. And then I like number 1, Woodbine Way. Her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters, actually tied with another horse, and she should improve at the shorter distance. Number 8, Champagne Cami is my 3rd pick. She was off slow in her last start and ran 8th, but she has a jockey who in the last 7 days has been doing fantastic. 7 wins out of 27. starts. And then number 3, Pammy's Ready. She has a trainer who wins 20% of the time in sprints. Her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has a good 3 furlong workout on July 20th.
The last race of the day, seemingly always the hardest one to hit, Terry, probably because they put I don't know, they probably put it always seems to me that it's like one of the either one of the better races on the card or one of the worst races on the card. You're never really in the middle in terms of the quality. And this one is a maiden claimant $20,000 race, purse of $30,000 for maidens, fillies, and mares 3 years old and up, 1 mile so far on the main track. They've done it 9 times, 5 of which were won from off the pace, so pretty close to 50-50. If a speed horse wins today, then it'll be 50-50. 2 of which were the alphas and the omegas. They led from the beginning to the end. Strong outside bias so far. No wins from the rail. Only 1 winner from posts 2 or 3. 4 through 7 have scored fairly. Get a strong bonus on 8 and out. And again, we look at this pace race here. I like to, again, make designations or denote which horses are going up in class, which horses are dropping in class, so forth. So the down arrow, obviously, dropping in class. The up arrow, meaning moving up in class. The no arrow or the flat line, meaning horses that are running at a level pretty much the same that they ran last time out. We see that the 5 and the 6 are horses that should be close to the pace. Their pace figures suggest they'll probably run 2nd and 3rd. So you'll have the pilot, maybe the co-pilot, maybe one of them is going to be on the lead. So the 8 horses numbers did not figure to put him on the front. And if he goes to the front, probably going to have to run too fast to keep up. And then I also have over here the 11 horse, being a left arrow horse, dropping in class. It is a horse that has a pace figure, despite one that looks like it wants to be a closer, to move forward. And the same thing over here for the 3 horse, which kind of shocked me a little bit because this guy's never been close at the finish line. So you got a lot of stuff going on here. The 7 and the 9 having some good late pace numbers in here. This is a wide open race. It looks like a wide open race on paper, Terry. Do you think it's a wide open race once the gates open?
I do. Yes, I really do. So anyway, in this race, I like the number 6 horse, So Softly. She finished 2nd in her last race. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and she should improve while returning to her route. Number 4, Flip It. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey that wins 31% of the time the first time he puts blinkers on a horse. And then number 5, Slam Diego. She ran 2nd versus similar in her last race, has the highest last speed rating, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 10, Jewel of a Kid. She came in from Churchill Downs after being claimed by a trainer who wins 25% of the time the first race after claiming a horse, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters.
So Slam Diego gets my top nod here. Comes in from Churchill Downs after running the top last race speed figure. And this is one that can run from the front or the back, so it does have some versatility in this spot, and showed to be much better at the end of its last start. Jewel of a Kid is another one that's a class dropper from Churchill Downs for our friend Robertino Diodoro, off the claim. And as we mentioned, Robertino absolutely targets races off the claim, so you know that he picked this race for Jewel of a Kid. And when he does claim a horse, he does win a quarter of the time. So 1 out of 4 times, buys a horse, boom, goes to the winner's circle. Number 6, So Softly, better at the end of last race, but does have enough early pace to be close to the front all the way around the track. And then finally, number 4, Flip It. Trainer Andy Mathis hits at 26% when he goes from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. But I didn't really designate this as a drop in class for the horse because he's already run at maiden 20,000 like he's doing today. Did finish 3rd in that race by a half a length, and that was at Golden Gate on that all-weather track. So you don't necessarily know how that translates to the dirt track, if you'll have the same sort of performance. And then the 11 horse Charlotte Harbor, that was one of the class droppers as well. That's also eligible. That might be one that you want to keep an eye on too, and the last race as well. Which brings us to, as you mentioned, Terry, our last pick 4s of the day. They are prime rib pick 4s. And this is where we have a little bit bigger budget, Terry, but you didn't use all yours today. You're going to go with the Where's the Beef? got the big buns on the outside and a skinny hamburger in the middle with only 3 picks.
That's right. I got 4 with 3 with 3 with 5. So, because I think that 8th race is really wide open. So,
So I went in the first race, I put the 12 in there. You can see it's highlighted in yellow. And again, the 10 and 8 are out of order compared to my picks. The ones in yellow mean the 12 horses are also eligible. If it does not get in, I'm going to replace it with the 10. But if it does get in, the 10 does not make the ticket. And then I have the same thing in race number 7, where the 10 is also eligible. If it does not get in, I replace it with the 7 horse. If it does get in, Terry 7's on the sidelines for me. Mine's a $96 ticket. Again, that's our prime rib pick 4. Here are all of our picks for the day, Terry. I always pressed the wrong damn button. All of our picks for today, Terry's best bets in race number 2. My best bets in race number 3, squaring up against his long shot. So it's a best bet long shot battle of horses there.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
My long shots in race number 6. I have the 6 horse. Terry does not have it. Again, our box it ups. Terry's is in race number 4. Mine is in race number 7. That's where we take 4 horses, put them together in a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Again, the 10 is highlighted in yellow for me, Lexington Humor. If that also eligible does not get in, I'm replacing the 10 with the 7. Our hot dog pick 4s start in race number 2. We're both singling an 8, just in different races. I feel like the 8 in race number 3 should really be an easy winner. Terry thinks the same for the 8 in race number 2. So maybe you think about going 8-8 and then really going big in the back end to catch some prices. And then we have our prime rib pick 4s to take the card home. And again, Terry mentioned at the start of the show that the pick 5s at Del Mar so far have been more than fruitful, paying an average of $50,000. So if that holds true today, hey, maybe you might want to invest a few bucks in one of those, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. Good vibes, Leonard. We agree. Good vibes. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. If you agree that it's good vibes, please subscribe while you're here on YouTube at Horse Racing Radar TV. Hit the bell so when we go live, you are notified. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where our good friend Swiss Army Sean at Horse Race the number 2 Day will keep you informed with all that's going on here at horseracingtoday.net. And it's always a lot that's going on here, Terry. I think you'll agree.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. If you're into horse racing or if you want to get into horse racing, you need to start watching.
Indeed. And then today, if you're going to bet at Woodbine up in Canada, Toronto, you'll see at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Again, there are links in the description here at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever it is that you're following us at YouTube, also on horseracingtoday.net. Please click on one of those links so they know where you're coming from, and you'll see Woodbine today in Toronto is our free track of the day. Not really going out on a limb in the first race with number 5, Owen Supermoon at 7-5, but could be an easy winner. Maybe back it up there with the 3-horse Union and Colonel as a nice backdoor exacta or trifecta. Might be a shot that comes in and plays. Again, over at guaranteedtipsheet.com. Tonight, we'll be back with Mountaineer Park track announcer to go over the West Virginia Derby. That's at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you catch that. Should be a fantastic show. Tom and I will be back tomorrow for 4 and Friday for the Curragh and a bonus race as well here in the States on the turf that features some international flavor. Terry, I think I got everything. Did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I think you got everything just right.
Yeah, well, hopefully the picks are just right.
That's right.
Especially for both of us. Any final thoughts before we get up and get out of here and you start to pack your bags from New York?
Yeah, I'm getting really excited about going to New York and meeting with Tom and having a good time there, meeting with you guys in Saratoga. And just everybody be careful and give your loved ones a hug and a kiss. Tell them how you feel. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, no matter what you do today, whether it's at Del Mar, or it's at Woodbine, any other tracks that are running, or you're just going to go out and enjoy the day, the summer day. No matter what you do, we hope that you make the most of every second because every second counts. Terry and I can attest to that in the last couple of weeks. We hope that you make them count, but most importantly, no matter what you do this day, it ends up in our good friend Jay Marco's
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Thursday. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.